Hi everyone, and welcome to part 2 of learning the basics of GameMaker. And I've just reopened what I finished with in the first part. Now very quickly, I spent a short while on my sprites. Just looks nicer in game, so thought I'd stick with something similar to the sprites I had in the first place. So at the moment we have our ship moving left and right and our bullets flying upwards when we press spacebar to shoot them. So next I believe some targets are in order. So we're going to press the create object burn, which you should be slightly familiar with now. And we're going to stick with the OBJ, and I'm calling mine Baddie. So we're going to add an event now for a collision, which is also very useful, with the bullet. So now when our Baddie gets hit with a bullet, we want it to destroy the other, which will be the bullet, and destroy itself. So we click OK now, and that's all that needs for now. And we make our new sprite, Baddie. Okay, so you really do just need to try and get used to the system of your objects and your sprites, and the rest comes slowly with practice. So I'm going to very quickly make this man as our first enemy. Okay, so now our sprite's there. We can go into Baddie and do our drop down menu bit. Okay, and we go into our game room and we can place view. So now if we press play now, we did the bit of code before drawing the sprite. This will hopefully mean they get shot. Oh, missed, how terrible. So there we go. We have, you can see the bullet that hits the Baddie is destroyed, and so is the enemy. Okay, now I forgot to set my timer, so I'm going to have to guess. Okay, so what we're going to do now is make the game a bit harder, and we're going to use the create event again. And now, similar to the bullet, we're going to use the move event and make our enemy move left and right. So now, as I said earlier, or even in the past video, the GameMaker will only do as you told it. So now we've told our enemy to move left and right. It will keep going and it will leave the room, just like the bullets do. But what we're going to do for this one is other, and intersect boundary, which is the edges of the room. We're going to reverse the horizontal direction. So now they're going to bounce off the edges of the room. And that's simple enough, so I'm not going to test that bit. So now we're also going to make the player earn points for destroying the Baddie. Now, as you know, we're just using a destroy event. So destroy actions. So in events, we're going to use destroy, and then go down to the side to score, and we're going to set the score relative, so adding as much as you want. So I'm doing 10. If we click OK and test the game, we should now have moving, bouncing, destroyable enemies that give you 10 points a pop. So there they are, there we go, bouncing like we said. Shoot one, and we can see my score has gone to 10 there. And it's going up and up and up and up. So we know that works. So now we're going to have our first touch on variables. Now variables are very good for everything. You can use them for everything, and they will become a key part of anything you're making later. So we're going to call this Baddie 2. Now we're going to leave, what I did there was right click on duplicate. So we're going to call this Baddie 2. Now variables are in control. I'm going to go to create and set this variable. Now I'm calling this HP, which is going to represent the health of the enemy. Now whatever you do, do not put health. That is already a built-in variable into GameMaker and will confuse it, and you'll be messing with things you don't want to. So in our create event, we've set variable HP to 4. So now basically what that means is we have a box in Baddie 2 that has got the number 4 in it, and it's called HP. It's a simple way of explaining it. And obviously HP for us is representing the life this baddie has. So now we're going to go to the collision with a bullet and delete the destroy self command by pressing the delete button on the keyboard, because obviously we don't want it to be destroyed in one shot like the other enemy. Instead, we're going to put in another variable block and use the variable name from the create event, and we're going to put in relative -1. So now every time it collides with a bullet, it sets the health down 1. Next, we're going to use a step event. Now, step is constantly happening. There's 30 steps in a second. So basically, whatever we put in the actions here is constantly going on. So what we're going to do is use this new one here, which is test variable, to see if the HP is equal to 0. So now we know if the health is 0, destroy self. So what this is going to do now is constantly check for the HP, and when the HP is at 0, it will destroy itself. And now if we go into a destroy event, we can give the player a few more points because this enemy is harder, and maybe because they've got more health we'll slow them down a bit, or yeah, we can slow them down a bit. Okay, if we just make Baddie 2, make him a bit different. Now if we put some of this Baddie 2 in our room. Now what you've noticed, I've just made the sprite but they look the same. That's because I didn't set the sprite here, which you'll just remember to do that. So if we test it now, and see our slower moving enemies here, needing multiple shots, and giving us more points than the other ones from earlier. And that's the basics of variables. We've got our scrolling background. So next we're going to look at game information, which basically in here you can put things like that you made it, and you can access this in a game by pressing F1, but that's not too important for now. But something more interesting is your global game settings. Now, like here we have the starting full screen mode button, so I'll click that, and then allowing the player to resize the game window, and a lot of these are self-explanatory. Have a flick through those. We have our loading bars and loading boxes, so maybe we can make our own loading bar. We can have this sand, and it turns into this metal. And now with your info you can put anything that you want in there, stuff like that. So if we play that now, we'll see we've got our custom loading bar, which will look a mess. There we go, lovely. And the game launches straight into full screen. But obviously what a problem we have now is that we have no score at the top anymore because it was default and in the window. But I think I might be running out of time, so in part 3 I shall show you that. As I said, as I didn't say, if there's any questions or you want to show me what you've done, a video response, or just drop a comment if I'm going too fast or if there's something I haven't explained properly, and I'll help you out. Okay, bye.